We often wonder, does this person want just a job or do they want this job? You can get hired. How's it going? Welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to explore the proper ways to answer some of the harder questions that you get in an interview. A lot of people discuss things with their friends very well, but when it comes to answering questions to an interviewer, there's a lot of nerves involved, and sometimes we don't do that well with answering the following 3 questions. Tell me about yourself. What is your biggest weakness? And do you have any questions for us? I'm going to demonstrate an interview, and then I'm going to tell you the right ways to answer those questions. Keep watching. Hi there, Tahira. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in at short notice. We've been trying to fill this position for quite some time, and we're hoping that you will be a good fit. This interview will be very short. We're going to ask only a few questions. So let's get started. Tell me about yourself. Well, thanks for having me in today. Some things about myself are I like to play beach volleyball. I have 16 nieces and nephews. And when I was young, I lost my bike and I got in big trouble. Okay. Total wrong way to answer that question. Let's try it again. Thank you so much for asking. I have been working in human resources and employment services for over 10 years. I recently graduated from Quinnipiac University, gaining my master's in the nonprofit sector, looking to really plant myself in a company that has like-minded goals for the community as well as follows their mission to the T. Definitely looking to grow as a professional and really meet some cool people that I could help in employment. All of us have weaknesses and strengths. Tell me about one of your weaknesses. My biggest weakness is I am always late. I cannot be on time. I just find myself being so late. Again, wrong way to answer that question. Let's check out a different way. If I had to pick one thing that was my weakness, I would definitely say that I really find it difficult to leave an assignment undone. Sometimes I'm working really hard and the clock strikes 4 and it's time for me to go, but I really struggle with leaving something undone. So I find myself working a little bit longer. Even though I really measure out my day perfectly, I also like to make sure things are done correctly. And so sometimes you can't dictate how long that takes. And so I find myself struggling to leave things undone at the end of the day. I take it home with me. Do you have any questions for me? No, I don't have any questions for you. I don't have any questions for you. Thanks for having me here. Wrong way to answer that question. You always want to have a question. So it could be as big as, so tell me about your turnover. Do people typically stay in your company? Do you mind telling me again what struggles the last person had in this role? So, when do I start? When an employer asks you, tell me about yourself, they're never asking about your personal life. They want you to quickly tell them about who you are as an employee or as a professional. We call this an elevator pitch. You get a good 30 to 60 seconds to give someone an impression of who you will be as their employee. And so maybe you are a hard worker, a team player, and you love to finish tasks. When an employer asks you, tell me about yourself, that's how you respond. I'm a hard worker, I love to work with the team, and I always work until the job is done. Quick and easy. Whenever an employer is asking you about your weakness, they can see right through the I'm a perfectionist answer. Never use that. It's so old and we are expecting it as interviewers. Make sure you pick something that's honest to yourself but doesn't reveal something that will make them not want to hire you. So if you're someone who struggles with being on time, you definitely don't want to tell your employer that. Just maybe say something more like, I have struggled in the past to do X, Y, and Z, so whatever your struggle is, but then also make sure that you put that you're either actively working on a change or you've already changed that behavior. For example, I used to struggle with communicating with customers, but since I've been working in customer service, I now learned that if you listen enough, then you'll know exactly how to respond, making sure that the customers get exactly what they need and everybody goes home happy. You want to make sure that if you are saying a weakness, you are also saying that you are actively fixing that weakness. I know, guys, that's a hard thing to conquer, and we'll work on it. And lastly, whenever an interviewer or recruiter is asking you, do you have questions? What they really want to know is, have you been paying attention, and do you care enough to clarify it? There are a couple ways to answer that question, but the answer should always be yes. I always have a question for the person interviewing me, even if it is something to clarify something they've already said, or if it's something about further information. It proves to the employer that I not only want a job, but I care about having a job with them. This is when you can wow them with all of the facts that you've learned before coming to the interview. So you might want to say like, hey, I read on your website that you guys donate money to the community. How can, as an employee, how can I be more involved with that? It shows that you research the company and you care about yourself being there, not just anywhere. Asking any questions or the right question at the end of an interview will absolutely help them to know that you want to be there with them, not just anywhere to get a check. And it can also open up an opportunity for you to be able to clarify some stuff about yourself that you may not have been able to do and left them wondering. I have in the past asked in an interview, is there anything that you don't see on your resume that you really need for this position? It surprises the interviewer often, but it also lets them see like, is there something that I don't like about this candidate? And they may say, yeah, I wish you knew how to fold napkins. And I can say, actually, in a past job, I folded a lot of napkins for the table for the guests before they were seated. And now I'm able to speak to a place that they really want, and it wasn't on my resume, helping them to make a better decision of choosing me. Because just like you, we are always the best choice for the job. To subscribe to our channel, leave some comments, and if you have questions, you can drop those in the comments. I'll be actively looking to make sure I respond. Happy job seeking.